Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's so serious. Where my girls at? We ain't linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
It's going down. Where my girls at? Where my girls at? It's going down tonight. It's going down tonight. Oh my goodness. It is a winning Wednesday. And don't you dare touch that dial because you are tuned into We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF radio. And we're excited to be coming to you Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're excited to be here with you. We are messy, bossy, techie, messy, bossy. I'm not going to say who I'm talking about, but I'm sure you already know. But we love coming together to share with you, to bring some laughter, some light, and some lessons. And of course, today is another great show. And I'm so glad to be hanging out with my girlfriends. I see Gloria and Sabrina. And let me just say, for those of you that are on the radio, we're excited that you're there. And we have many of you that are watching us on Facebook Live, either on the Force of Friendship or the 9:10 a.m. Facebook page. You can't see us on the air, but all of us have on pink. We are wearing a shade of pink, and you got it. We're wearing that because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we wanted to wear these colors to be unified because we just know how important it is to talk about breast cancer. And so many of our lives have been affected by family and friends who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And unfortunately, we all know many who have died from breast cancer. So it is a conversation that we need to have. And I'll be honest, it's a conversation that shouldn't just take or be relegated to 1 month out of the year. This is a conversation, right? As girlfriends, we got to always be checking in with our girls saying, hey, have you had your mammogram? When is the last time you had a mammogram? Because, and I'll give some statistics a little bit later, but can you believe in this day and time, there are still women, Black women, white women, especially Black women, who still have not gone to have a mammogram for a variety of reasons. And we'll talk about some of those reasons on today. But I am so excited, you guys, about today's show because you're going to meet our guest in just a few minutes. Her name is Dawn Floyd, and she is a breast cancer survivor. Give her a hand, Michael. Yes, to all of the breast cancer survivors. OMG. And we're going to be talking to her about her journey, her story, because I know several women that have gone through breast cancer, and everybody's journey and story, while there are some similarities, there are a lot of differences. And, I'm just excited about the conversation today because she took her pain and she turned it into purpose. And she is also the founder of My Sister's Pink Journey. And she's going to tell us about that organization. And again, this is going to be a conversation that you want to lean into. And let me just encourage you, if you know someone that's going through breast cancer right now, tell them to listen in. We would love for them to even call us at 313-778-7600. And maybe you know someone who is still on the fence about, "Oh, I just don't want to go get a mammogram." You definitely need to call them and say, this is the show that they need to listen to, because we're going to educate on today, because we don't want any of our sisters to perish from breast cancer because they waited too late. Okay. And so, you guys, there's so much going on around the world, so much going on around the world. And so I'm excited to be here with Sabrina Goodwin Monday, who is residing now in Geneva Lake, Ohio. Okay, she's looking beautiful in her pink, and I see Rio is looking out the window, so he's here with us too. And here from Ellicott City, we have our girl Gloria Mayfield Banks and our girlfriend Caterina. I don't know if she's on the radio, if she's listening, but she went to the dentist and had some surgery, so she's probably not going to be on the show with us today. But Caterina, if you're listening in, just know we're sending you lots of love and praying for a speedy recovery, that your mouth feels really good, because we definitely, if we have a technology glitch, we're gonna be in trouble. Okay. So I'm gonna throw it over to Sabrina. What's going on in your neck of the woods, Bree?
Oh my goodness, busy day. Always stuff going on. Glad to take a break. Always, this is a station break in my life and my day when I can get with my girlfriends. I always love to see your faces, hear your voices. Everybody needs a friend. And that's what this show is all about. For friendship, those girlfriends who encourage you to go get your mammogram, encourage you to go get your checkups, encourage you to check on your health. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation today. I am crazy, scary. I used to live in Arlington, Texas. When I heard that there was a shooting at a high school in Arlington, I started thinking about all my friends that way, business associates who live in the area. Any shooting is not a good, but I'm so glad it wasn't just a loose shooter who came to the school. Apparently it was two kids who had gotten into a fight and one drew a gun and injured 3 or 4 people. He was on the loose for a while, but I just found it strange. When they found him, he turned himself in with a lawyer. Okay. So walked into the police office station with his attorney. So that's an interesting spin, but I'm glad that he is now in custody. And I understand one of those people one of those injured is in critical condition. So we pray for those families for sure. We pray for them. So other than that, news, but we are here. Gloria, good to see you. How are you?
Right.
18 years old. We hear you on the radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So anyway, that's sort of, I can't believe that he could walk in there with a lawyer. I'm just finding that's crazy. But here in the Baltimore, D.C. area, everything's good. I can't wait for this conversation. We're all touched so much by women in this category, and therefore families in this category, therefore children and sisters and aunts in this category of breast cancer, the survival, the medical side of it, the emotional side of it, the financial side of it, the piece that are helping us on. You're right, Chris. It's more than a month, but I'm very grateful that we have the month, because it makes everybody stop for just a second and lean in and listen and pay attention. So I'm really excited to tap into this. I really want to take a second and invite our callers to call in. So if you're listening and you've never called in to We Got Issues, this would be the time, because everybody's got a story. Everybody has got a story. So you call into 313-778-7600, because we want to hear your voice. I'm going to hand it back over to you, Chris, because I'm ready.
Wow. Awesome. Well, I am so excited to bring on our guest on today. Dawn Floyd is with us. Let's bring her on. And we're excited that she is here. Yes. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you.
Let me just tell you a little bit about Dawn. Dawn is a district financial aid advisor for Wayne County Community College District. She is a recent breast cancer survivor, also the proud founder of My Sister's Pink Journey. And this is a nonprofit organization. And the mission, I love her mission, is to provide financial support and inspirations to sisters during their journey as they fight breast cancer. The foundation provides a personal touch to the recipient and their family from, and this is what's unique, from a survivor's point of view. Because of course, you know,
Absolutely.
it's different when somebody does something because they have a heart to do it, but it's totally different when you have gone through it. She is 46 years old, from Detroit. She is married to her loving husband, Travail, of 21 years, and she is the mother of an amazing daughter, Anaya. And I'm telling you, she's amazing all in herself. And I need to have her on the show as well. Entrepreneur at such a young age. But we want to welcome you, Dawn, to We Got Issues. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
with
for
us.
having me.
You are so welcome.
Absolutely.
Well, of course, everybody knows that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And of course, we absolutely want to do our part in bringing light to this disease that has affected so many women around the country, around the world. And when I tell you the statistics out there are just unbelievable. Let me see. Let me find it real quickly. I just want to give you some statistics. Black women, when it comes to Black women have, number one, more aggressive breast cancers developing at earlier ages and lower survival rates compared to white women. For example, the percentage of breast cancer mortality among Black women, wait for it, 42% higher compared to white women. In addition, breast cancer survival rate has remained lower among white women, and it has increased over time in Black women. The high mortality and low survival rates in breast cancer among Black women compared to ethnic groups can be attributed to late stage of breast cancer diagnosis. Stick a
Right.
pin in it. Late stage of breast cancer because they got diagnosed later. Barrier to healthcare access, biologic and genetic differences in tumors, and prevalence of risk factors. And so I'll share some more information a little bit later. So Dawn, I want to bring you into the conversation. Just tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yes, absolutely. I just first want to thank you all for having me on today. I think it is so important that maybe all three of you all touched on this, but when you made reference to this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but the fact that we need to share this awareness every month is important. And the reason why is because of what you just said, First Lady, in regards to when we find out, and the lack um, of this knowing how important it is to get those mammograms and to self-exam. So thank you for having me on this month, but for also letting the listeners know how important it is to be aware of your breast health throughout the year. Okay. I can tell you a little bit about my journey, my story. I was 40 years old, and I always knew that 40 was an age in which you should start getting your mammograms, unless there was a family history. Then obviously you should start getting those mammograms a little earlier than 40. So it was July of 2015. I scheduled my first mammogram. And I went in to have my mammogram completed. And that is when they found something that they wanted me to come back to obviously have a biopsy done. So there was discovered that in my left breast there was a tumor. Um, and I like to put this part in there first because I did have a lump under my arm in which I ignored. Okay.
Mm.
And I have to always put this in my story because when you don't have a family history, and you don't really, it's not talked about in your family in terms of doing a breast exam. I didn't understand that doing an exam under your arm, because that is part of your breast area, right? How important that was as well. And so if I had known that, if I was aware that having a lump under your arm is something that should alarm you, then I would have gone in, as you said, First Lady, I would have gone in earlier to have this examined. Um, but I did go for my mammogram, and it was determined that the lump under my arm was actually where the cancer had started to spread to my lymph nodes. And so I was diagnosed with stage 2B breast cancer. And then my journey started with treatment. I went through 12 rounds of chemotherapy. Um, I had surgery, which was a lumpectomy. Um, and then I had 32 treatments of radiation. Um, yeah, just talking about it just brings back memories. I was actually diagnosed at the end of September, so this October I would, um, every time October rolls around, you can imagine, you just, those thoughts come back. um, but this year marks 5 years of survivorship for me, and so
Yay, that's so
absolutely.
awesome.
So anyone that knows anything about cancer and that world, we know that 5 years is something that's worth celebrating. And so I do celebrate 5 years of survivorship. Um, I think one thing that I want to always encourage women to do is to talk about um, your breast health, to talk to one another, no matter how young, how old. We'll talk about my sister's pink journey a little later, but just in what we do, we have encountered women of all ages that we help. And so I think the youngest person that I have encountered was 27 years old. And, I just remember myself at 27. I don't think I would have been concerned about doing self breast exams at 27. And we know in the healthcare industry, in terms of mammograms, that's not even something that's spoke about at that age. So it's important for us to talk. It's important for us to know that, whenever you feel a lump or something that's not right, we have to listen to our bodies, right? We have to understand how important it is to do those exams, and to not be afraid. Because I can admit, when I go to do those exams now, it's not something that I look forward to. Because that fear does creep in, but we know that we have to do it because the death rates are alarming because of the late stage in which we find out that that we have it. So um, that's a little bit about my journey. Right now, even though I am celebrating 5 years of survivorship, every day that I live, every day that I wake up, I have to realize that my health is important. So I have to continue to try to do the right things to alleviate any disease within my bodies. And I'm sure you ladies do the same thing. So just being aware of the things that we put in our bodies, making sure that we understand the importance of diet and exercise, which I've had to get back into my exercise journey. But yeah.
Wow. Dawn, I mean, your story is so powerful. Your story is, I'm sure, similar to hundreds of stories, yet it's different. And so we're getting ready to go up against our first, our commercial break. And when you come
Okay.
back, I want you to talk about how My Sister's Pink journey came
Yes.
about. We are absolutely, we're talking about from pain to purpose. And you are
Yes.
listening to We Got Issues on 910 a.m. the Superstation. We want you to come back. Call us at 313-778-7600. We want to hear from you. We have a couple of callers. We'll come back to you right after this break.
Hey, you guys. Facebook. Wow. This is a big deal, y'all. Wait a minute. Okay. I don't want to hang up on the radio station. This is a big deal, isn't it not? I'm so excited to speak to someone who has gone the journey at a very young age, as far as I'm concerned, 40, young age, survives it, has a young daughter, married, and then she starts a foundation that deals with it. So it is a big deal. I'm so glad to see many of you are here. Some of you have your own testimony. Some of you might know someone else, but the number to call in is 313-778-7600. Again, it's 313-778-7600. Yeah, I'm so excited to see so many of you on here cheering her on, making her feel good. Because, when you talk on the radio, it's one thing when you talk on the radio and you're doing Facebook and YouTube at the same time. It's a blessing that we get to see a lot of their comments. So it really does make a difference. Like, wow. Like, can you guys believe this? So crazy. And then another school shooting is just taking me out. Like, it's taking me out. And he walks in with a lawyer. Just so amazing. Like, so amazing. Now, you see Chris is drinking her water. That's a good girlfriend for you. You keep drinking that water, those pounds will shed off. That body will get tighter and act like it deserves. One of the things that she said was that she didn't do a breast exam. And had she done a breast exam, she would have felt the lump. That's another thing that we talk about all the time is our bodies and our health and how we can continue to take care of those things. Because that is making such a big difference. And, we are all touched in one way or another by it. So, you guys, seriously, we got issues, covering a lot of issues. And I'm so glad you're here. I keep listening for the music to come because, we have our own jingle. And when they play that music, you got to get back on the station. So that's really good. And if you guys have some ideas on what we should talk about next, I would love some audience participation ideas. You see the four of us, you see us talking, you see us laughing, all that information. There must be some topic you want to know more about than the surface that so we can put our research on it, so we can find some things out. That will make a massive difference. Okay, I'm going to look down here and see. So I'm trying to think of what, of what to say with the fact the radio station is coming back on. Here we go.
You are listening to We Got Issues on 910 a.m. the Superstation. And while we are having a great conversation today with Dawn Floyd, who is a breast cancer survivor, as well as the founder of My Sister's Pink Journey. So again, if you know someone that's going through breast cancer and they need some encouragement, some help, you absolutely want them to tune in. And if you know someone who hasn't taken the time to go get their mammogram, you absolutely want to call them and have them listen to our show on today. And we absolutely would love to hear from you. You can call us at 313-778-7600. We have several callers on the line, and so we're going to go ahead and take our first caller. Marsha, are you there? Hi, Marsha. Thank you for calling. We Got Issues.
How you doing today? I'm good. How are you guys doing? Fantastic. Talk to us, Marsha. What's going on? Well, I was diagnosed in 2020. I felt the knot on my right breast, but I didn't know what it was. And, by that time, before I could go to the doctor, the clinics and doctor's offices were shut down. So I had to wait. And my doctor was like, well, you can do a virtual. I'm like, no, I don't want to do a virtual if I can't get, checked out. So I talked to my daughter and my family, and they was like, yeah, Mom, you got to get that checked out. I said, I'll sit down, because it hurted when I felt it. So when I went to the doctor, they said I was in mammogram. I did a mammogram and ultrasound. I was eligible to do a 3D mammogram. And then I got a phone call back, like, oh, well, we need you to come in and do a biopsy. So I'm like, okay. I did that. And when I get a phone call from my doctor, she was like, well, I don't want to bring you in, just for the safety of others. So I felt as though I could tell you over the phone. So she was talking and she said some big word I didn't understand. No, not at all. So she was like, yeah, sorry to tell you do have breast cancer. And I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. And they said that is like one of the aggressive breast cancer that a woman can have. So I started, she was like, we're going to have to start getting you the doctors and treatments. And I get off the phone and I was blown away. I called my daughter. She came around. It was hard to even let the tears come out, but I knew they were coming, but they wouldn't come. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So I didn't tell my family. I just told my kids, my daughter and my son. I told them just wait, until we get all the information that we got to have, and then let the family know what's going on. So I started doing chemotherapy. Every day I was doing treatments. I was getting injections after each treatment for 5 days a week. After that, I did another treatment, 12 weeks of first treatment and 12 weeks of taking a pill. So this journey has not been easy at all because it takes away a lot of your energy.
Marsha, can I ask you a question? You said that you felt a lump in your breast.
Yes.
How long the progression between when you felt it and when you called the doctor? Was it something that you felt, but you just kind of like, oh, I don't really think it's something, or did it just pop up and then you felt it?
Yeah, because I felt it one day and I was like, oh, that's probably nothing, like that. But when I kept feeling it, it didn't feel good. It was hard and it was hurting at the same time. So when I told my daughter, and they're like, yeah, you have to make an appointment to go get checked out.
Okay.
So, and after that, so I'm like, okay. So I said, Lord, I can't go into the clinic right now, but I'm not claiming anything. You try to keep your faith, and your faith, you have to let you know that your faith is so strong that you're not claiming no cancer, you're not doing none of this, because I didn't have breast cancer in my family. There was no one in my family ever had breast cancer.
And you know what, Marsha? I'm so glad that you are bringing that up, and Dawn has brought that up, because I'm going to tell you, there's a false sense of security when you go and they ask
one in your family had breast cancer and you say no, and somewhere in your mind you think, well, I really don't have to I don't have to worry about it because there's not a history. But I'm so glad that you guys are talking about the fact that you can still get breast cancer even though there's no history. So Marsha, tell us a little bit about how you met Dawn.
I met Dawn through Commandos from Nancy, the social worker, and Zoe. She would come down. She would sit with me doing treatment and talk with me. And let me know that I'm strong. You know, she encouraged me while I was sitting there. She was like, well, you know, there's an organization that helps women that go through treatment, you know, with financial assistance or whatever assistance that they need help with. So I filled out the application. I got a call from Dawn, and it was like one of the blessed things that happened that day when we talked on the phone. And I shared my story with her, and we both cried on the phone because our story was something similar to what she had been through. And it was just that point where when they, because like you said, you don't never want to sit up when you're going through so much. Your mind is wondering, okay, how you going to do this and how you going to do that? And they stepped in, they paid my rent for 2 months. I didn't have to worry about that. But just being an organization like that, helping women, and so you ask somebody or someone just coming in and they let you know that you're not in it alone. And, you know, sometimes it still hurts now, but I'm blessed and I'm thankful that I'm here. I have my health, I have my family, my children, my sisters, and they have all been there for me during day one. So the support team that I have, and
Are you a business builder looking for support to solve issues related to business strategy?
yeah.
That and just know that we absolutely, I got your name written down. We're going to be praying for you, praying that
your journey is going to come out successfully, and we truly again appreciate you calling. All right, best to you, Marsha.
Thank you. I'll thank you later.
You're so welcome. Thank you for calling. We do have another caller. Stephanie, are you there? Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie, thank you so much for calling. We got issues on today. Talk to us.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been an interesting journey for me. I was diagnosed with stage 2 triple negative breast cancer back in March of this year. And I actually chose from the very beginning to be extremely transparent about what was going on with me. I felt that, you know, the Lord really wanted me to share my story along the way, because I know that there are so many people who go through this, who suffer in silence, who don't have support system, you know, you name it. And I felt that, you know, sharing my story at least would encourage others and at the same time give me the strength to get through it myself. And
You there, Steph?
sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
I'm sorry. Okay. And so, you know, I chose to be completely transparent with my journey, because I felt that that was what I was supposed to do, to help others who may be going through this, who don't have support systems, who, you know, don't have those things in place, but they at least can hear a voice of someone who is going through the journey. So I had a lot of ups and downs. The plan was 16 chemotherapy treatments, followed by surgery, followed by radiation, and then we would be done with this. And through this journey in May, the port that I received to get my treatment became infected. I had a very bad staph infection. I was in this hospital for 8 days, temperature as high as 106.5. But I got through that. They removed the port. I went back, started my treatments again. In July, I was hospitalized again. Then they found that there was a blood clot in my PICC line. So they had to remove the PICC line after I had received 42 days of antibiotics. And I finally got back on my regimen. And now we are at the point where time for surgery. They wanted to get due to have surgery on October 13th. My surgeon was all set when she called me and said, sorry, we cannot do surgery because the major artery in your arm that supplies blood to your arm. So we cannot do surgery. So I must say that when I heard that, I really felt some type of way. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Okay, so what do we do now? And so I was on to the radio oncologist and to start radiation treatment. And so where I am right now is on October 13th. I will begin radiation therapy, 21 treatments to shrink what's underneath my arm. And they're also going to be able to include the lump that's in my breast. While this all happened in July, I found out as well that the cancer had moved to a lymph node in my lungs. And so that was a whole nother of the cancer being metastatic. But I will say that because I know that God, I'm confident that God is going to have already healed me. I'm just catching up with the healing. That's what helps me to keep my people. And so I would just, my words of encouragement to others would be, you will have your moments. You will have times when you want to scream or cry, but you also have to remember that having that support around you makes a huge difference. And when you share, it helps you and it helps others who are, cheering you on, who are praying for you. I know I have so many people praying for me across me, and that really helps, and it helps me to, just be strong and remain courageous and know that I am going to win. So in the end, God gets the glory, but we win, and I get the victory.
Wow, Stephanie, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for sharing your truth.
We
and
know you very well, and when I tell you, your attitude is just amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And so, I know they say, and Dawn can talk a little bit about that when you are challenged with something like that, your attitude is everything. And Stephanie, just based on your attitude, trust me, if it has anything to do with your recovery, we know that it is right there for you. So we appreciate you sharing that with us, Stephanie. We love you. We definitely will continue to pray for you. And again, thank you so much for calling us, Stephanie.
Yes.
Love you too. Wow. Two powerful stories. And so I want to, and Buck, if you could hold on just a little bit longer. I know you're holding on, but I wanted Dawn to talk a little bit about her organization, because, just listening to Stephanie and listening to Marsha about all of the things that it takes when you find out you're being diagnosed. And most of the times when you find out, it's a shocker. And it's kind of like it takes the wind out, and you don't even have time to think about how it's going to affect you. So Dawn, kind of talk to us why you started My Sister's Peace Journey.
Wow, I have sat here and jotted down so many different things. This is just amazing. We talk about support, and I think when you are diagnosed, when you get a cancer diagnosis, that support is a little bit different from needing the support to take your son and daughter back and forth to a game, right? So the support looks a little bit different, and you never know what you're going to need until you're in that position. And I think I've heard both of the callers say that they had a support system. And I believe that that is truly what got me through as well, in addition to God's grace, of course. But that support system was, my support system was amazing. On days that I didn't know I was so sick because of the side effects of chemotherapy, there was always someone that would do something for me that I needed in that particular time. I remember, as a child, hearing that God will send what you need right when you need it. And I didn't quite understand it then, but it wasn't until my diagnosis, until I went through treatment, when I understood what that meant. And so I remember having someone call me. My husband is the cook of my house. And so someone calling said, we're going to have a meal delivered for you guys today. Or me just feeling alone, and I receive a card in the mail from someone that says, that they've been praying for me, or having flowers delivered. All of those things came in at a time where I needed that pick me up. And so I remember saying, as I journaled, because I did journal a lot through my journey, that I wanted to be able to be of encouragement to women that are going through exactly what I'm going through, just like the world and my family and friends are encouraging me as I go through. And so I kind of promised God, like, if I get through this, if it's in your will to heal me and for me to get through this, I want to be that source of encouragement to women. Um, as Marsha said, and Marsha was the first caller, she definitely was one of our MSPJ recipients. Um, and when started MSPJ, that's exactly what our mission is to be a source of financial support. We know, we hear the diagnosis, we know that there's treatment that has to be done, but then, the side effects of treatment have you so that you're not able to go to work. And so the purpose of MSPJ is we want to be that source of support. So if you're not able to go to work because of the side effects of treatment, you know that MSPJ is going to take care of your rent, or take care of your mortgage or your utility bills, or even help your child in if there's a daycare issue, or anything of that nature. The financial support, we're there for you. We know that there's a need out there, and we hear that every day. We hear that from our recipients who say, I didn't even know that organizations existed like MSPJ, and what you have done for us has truly helped. We can focus on healing and not how we're going to pay our bills. And we know that that's important. We've seen it, we've heard it, we hear the testimonies. And so what we do, we have applications, as Marsha said, that are in the hospitals. I work with Henry Ford Hospital, BCCCP, and Beaumont. And then we also, when we have funding, we also work with Carmanis as well. And so that's how we were introduced to Marsha. And our applications are there. The social workers inform their patients of us. And if we have funding available, they have the patients fill out the application. We receive it, and we obviously look over it, make sure that what the patient is asking for, we're able to do. And we pride ourselves on not having to deny anyone. So if a social worker reaches out to us and says, I have someone that's in need, we're able to tell them, yes, we have the funds, we're going to send the application over, because the last thing we want to do, right, is to deny someone that's already going through a health challenge, and then we're going to just
Hey,
say
Dawn,
we
I have a
denied
question.
assistance. So we definitely don't want to do that.
Sabrina,
And so
you
we
had
have
a
been.
question? I think Sabrina
Yeah,
had
I
a
was
quick
just going to
question.
ask Don. Thank you, thank you. Your story is
Yeah.
amazing. You're obviously doing great work for so many people, and so I wanted to know, how do you raise funds for your organization? Maybe you could
Yes.
tell us the name of your organization, and because I know if you're a nonprofit, it's tough to raise the money that you
Yeah.
want. And you take pride
Absolutely.
in not denying people who are in need. So tell us a little bit about
Mhm.
fundraising, where you get your source of money from. And then
Absolutely.
my second question is, how can we be a better girlfriend? Because sometimes when our girlfriends are diagnosed, We get the news.
Yes.
We know they're paralyzed. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to smother them. You don't want to do too much, too little. So how can we be a better girlfriend during this time?
Absolutely. Love that question. First, I want to start off with how we get funding. Um, we have one major fundraiser a year, and I usually have it in October. We changed it to September this year, where we invite the community out. We, meaning myself, my friends and family, church members, invite their friends and families out to the venue where it's a fundraiser. And individuals from the community come and they give their donation. Um, this year, so we've been doing this for 5 years. This year was our biggest fundraiser in terms of the monetary support that we received. I was so nervous to have it this year, obviously, because we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Our goal was to raise $10,000. We actually raised a little over $19,000. So that is amazing for such a small organization. We get the funds from people like you, people like First Lady, our next door neighbors, so we don't have major, organizations to fund us. This is just from word of mouth and people in our community. And that's what I'm so proud of, that people entrust us with their money so that we're able to be a blessing to others. And so that's how we get our funding. However, people are hearing about my sister's Pink Journey. And so we actually got a call from Greektown Casino, who is blessing us with a donation, a very large donation. We haven't gotten it just yet, but when we get it, we will be announcing that. And so that's how we get our funding. We The other question you asked is, how can you be of support to a friend that may be going through? And I think that's very important, because sometimes you don't know what the need is. And all that you know is that you just want to take the illness away. You know what I mean? But some of the things that I have done in the past, and which is what we do through MSBJ as well, is that we try to lessen the load. So sending meals to a friend so that they don't have to worry about cooking, especially if they are the cooks of their family, because we know how they are feeling. One of the things that we do also is we provide for Thanksgiving. We provide catered meals to our families that are going through active treatment, so they don't have to worry about cooking. During Christmas, we adopt the whole family, and I think this part is important, because when you get a cancer diagnosis, it does not only just affect the patient, right? It affects the family, the husband, the children. So for Christmas, we adopt the entire family, and we allow them to fill out a form saying, some of their wants and their needs. And our sponsors from the community, they wrap the gifts, and we deliver. We pull up with a car full of gifts, and we deliver to the patient at their home. So we're coming into their homes with gifts that we feel will bring them some joy and love and hope as they go through their journey. So things of that nature
Excellent.
are things.
What's
that
your
can help.
website? Do you have a website, Dawn? Do you have a website?
I do. Yes. It's www.mspjourney.org, mspjourney.org. And through their website, if anyone feels inclined to make a donation, there's a donation option there.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
so awesome,
Yes.
Dawn. Oh my gosh, your organization is helping so many, and we absolutely encourage our listeners and our those of you that are watching us, definitely go to her website and make a donation,
Yeah.
because literally, I know, having gone to several of your fundraisers, just to
Yes,
be
you have.
there and to see I love the part where you have all of the breast cancer survivors, how they line
Yes.
up and they do their dance, because
Survivor stroll.
the survivor
nice.
stroll. It is just so amazing, and your heart is just filled with so much love and just so much hope for these ladies. And so you literally are doing the the Lord's work. And I pray
Yes.
that God will continue to bless you. We do have another caller. Buck, are you still there? Okay.
Listen to what you guys are talking about. I love the way you put your support groups out. I love the way you tell people about mammograms and how to catch it early. But I want to point out that what I like to hear also from the people that go around talking about it, I would like to hear preventative measures that women can take. And I wanted to touch on the fact that men can actually get chest cancer too. I don't want to call it breast cancer, but men, it's very rare, but men can get it too as well. But I want to just touch on the fact that I listened to the whole show and I like what I'm hearing and everything with the support groups. I just want to reach out to the person that was talking about the support groups and stuff like that. And I just want to tell you it's important to put the preventative measures out there as well for the women. As well, not just go get a mammogram, but talk about how smoking can affect it. Talk about how breastfeeding can actually help it. You know what I mean? Talk about how fruits and vegetables and a healthy weight and exercise and healthy sleep pattern. Talk about the carcinogens in grilled meat, how that can affect your breast cancer. I want to hear preventative measures that the women can take as well, as instead of just go get a mammogram, which go get a mammogram for sure. But let's try to put the preventative measures in there as well in the program sometimes, because that can help people prevent that. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to put that out there. I love the show. I've been listening, but I would just like to have heard more about preventative measures that people can take to prevent themselves from diagnosed, being diagnosed. You know what I mean? So I just want to say that. Thank you guys for the show. I'm not going to hold you guys up. But I did want to say that because that's what I was thinking when I was listening.
Hey, Bud, you know what? Thank you so much for caring enough to call in and for sharing those concerns. And you are absolutely right. And I just want to let you know that later this month, we are going to have an oncologist that is coming on, and she is going to speak to all of those things that you just brought up. And so we wanted to make sure when we delve deeper into breast cancer and what preventative measures we can take, we wanted to have a healthcare professional on
talk
to really
to those issues. But I absolutely agree 100% with what you're saying. And so thank you so much for calling in and sharing that with us. So I hope that you are on when our oncologist is on, and she will absolutely talk about all of those things that you just shared with us. Okay. Thanks, Bud.
Okay. Thanks, Bud.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you.
Started off talking about, the diet and exercise too. It's very important. So that was
Right.
very good tidbit to add.
Gloria,
You know what, Dawn, I wanted to ask you. Yeah, I wanted to ask this question. When you talk to the women in that broad spectrum, and there's so much going on, but what is, from what you've seen your organization, what have been some of the challenges or the lessons that you've learned dealing with the women that they could possibly do differently? Because all of us will get off this and we will talk to other people. So what are some of the things that maybe we could give them in terms of what you've seen that are lessons that other people can use because they might have done things, like not asking for support? Or what are some of the things that they don't do that could make things better for them once they find out they have cancer, breast cancer?
Yeah, so finding that someone to talk to. I know Marcia stated in the beginning that she did not want to tell the entire family early on. There's something that she wanted to just share with her children, and that's fine. But I think I do find a lot where people don't want to tell anyone. The second caller, Stephanie, talked about being transparent and being able to share your story, because you never know what someone else will actually learn from you and actually what you will learn from them. So I do feel that we have to be able to find that someone to be able to talk to during that journey. I mean, it's very important because we know even in everyday life, when we hold things in, it causes harm to us, our physical health when we hold things in. So definitely being able to talk. But one thing that I noticed within how it relates to what our foundation does is that we have to let people know that there is a need, whether it's a social worker I know for me, I didn't even know of social workers as I was going through. I didn't know that they were there to help us. And that's one of the reasons why the social workers will tell you, I know I get on their nerves because I call them, you sure you don't have anybody that needs help? So, I do that because a lot of people don't know that there is help out there. And I don't
Right.
care, you ladies, all three of you know that when you are able to pay your bills, when you're able to know that everything is taken care of, you feel better, right? And that's without a cancer diagnosis. So just
Right.
having one, you want to be able to have that feeling that this part at least is taken care of. And so I would encourage women or encourage people that are going through this to make sure that they let someone know if there is a need, because there's MSPJs out there that can assist. Yes.
Wow.
That's
Dawn,
big.
I mean,
That's real big.
yeah, that is so big. Go ahead. Can you go ahead? Because I know we're coming up to the close of the show. Can you give your website again? Because I know so
Yes.
many people want to find a way to help, because it just feels good to know that you're giving money to an organization that literally can make life more bearable, a little easier
Yeah.
for someone that's a family. And as you always said, it's the person that has the cancer, but the whole family experiences
Oh my
it
gosh.
as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Yeah. I want to point out, because we were doing the numbers not too long ago, but I'm so proud to say that since our inception, we've been able to. And let me say, when I say proud, I wish that there wasn't a need for organizations like mine,
Right.
because obviously I want to eradicate cancer. Like, I don't pride myself on this because I don't want to have to do this, right? But right now, we know that there is a need. And so until there's a time when we don't have to worry about this, I am thankful and I am excited that we are able to be of assistance. And so we've helped over 106 families. And I think that is such, it's worth saying, that we are in a place, because of our community have put us in a place where we are able to be of assistance to these families. Okay. Just wanted to put that out there. And our website, I think that's what you just asked again, is www.mspjourney.org. And you can make the donation through that site, through our site. We do have Cash App. I will give that. However, if people are going to make that donation, I would like for you to put in the note section your contact information so that we can send thank yous. Sometimes when money goes through there, we don't have contact information. So I would like that. And our Cash App is the organization. So it's $ My Sistah's Pink Journey. And Sistah's is spelled a little different. It's SISTAHS Pink Journey. My Sistah's Pink Journey. There's no apostrophe in the Cash App sign.
Well, Dawn, I mean, this has been such a great conversation. And thank you so much for taking time out to share your pink journey. We're so proud of you, so excited about what you're doing in the community. And so we just want to say thank you so much for being on We Got Issues on today. We want to thank all of you for listening in to. You're so welcome to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. And we will see you we'll be here on tomorrow at 6 p.m. God bless. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.